your stereo. Don't compare us to anything, this a different scenario. We break records while we pushing the culture forward. Great music and big vibes right in that order. Intellectually petty radio on the stereo. Don't compare us to anything, this a different scenario. We break records while we pushing the culture forward. Great music and big vibes right in that order.
And you are now tuned into another episode of Intellectually Petty Radio. This is Jobs. I'm sorry, I gotta somebody emailed me. Sorry, not email me, but inbox me. Yeah, I could do that, bro. I'm sorry, but this is Jobs, and you've been tuned in to another episode of Intellectually Petty Radio, brought to you by M3S3 Clothing. Men make moves and suckers stand still. And as always, on the mighty Nervedjs DJs Radio Network. You already know, man. Shout out to DJ Johnny O. Shout out to Hef. Shout out to DJ Squirt. Shout out to T-Rex. The whole family over there, man. And let me... 16dalife. Let me... I'm just going to email this link to my guy, Chill, also known as Eric Willis. And if you would just give me a second, you know, it's me and multitasking. It's trash. But before we started too, there was something I did want to discuss, but give me 1 second so I can get this email right, because if I don't write it down, I won't have it right. All right. So I do apologize for that. But it is what it is, man. Shit happens when you're going live. 16dalife music. Hold on 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. What's good, bro?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, could you send that link to my email?
Yeah, I'm doing that now.
Oh, okay. All right, for sure.
Yep. Let me just get that out the way. And bam. All right, my apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. But yo, there was something I did want to tackle topic. I did want to kind of talk about before we even get started, and I'm gonna let Chill kind of get everything together on his end. And this was a repost from SBE Baseball. Glenn Kuiper has been suspended after he uttered a racial slur during the team's Friday evening broadcast in an apparent slip-up. Now, instead of saying the Negro League, he said the Nigger League. And I'm sorry. And the guy that was on air with him didn't bat an eye, didn't check him, didn't chastise him. He just seemed like it was just a regular Thursday and they were at home in his garage watching TV. Please explain to me, first off, why is this simply a slip-up? And why is he only suspended? Now, I'm not besmirching any other community, but had he said something about the Jewish community in such a fashion, there would be no suspension. He'd have been fired immediately. Had he said something about the LBGQ community, he would have been fired. There wouldn't have been a slip up. I saw that Bob Huggins, the coach of West Virginia, he said something that was offensive to the LBGQ community. And the first thing I saw on SportsCenter was the guest host or the guest discussing that he should be fired immediately. Now, I'm not disagreeing with their opinion at all. What I'm saying is, why is this gentleman, it's okay to blatantly say one of the most toxic words that a Caucasian individual could ever say. And it's a slip up and they get suspended. The offensiveness of that is just, they don't care anymore. Basically, we should just get over it. And they've been telling us this for the longest time. Get over slavery, get over Jim Crow, get over whatever bothers you people. So now you can get on air on a baseball game and call us niggers. And the worst thing that'll happen to you is you'll get sent home for a couple of days. I don't know about you, but I find that to be extremely wrong. I find that to be egregious. And maybe I missed that part on PTI, Around the Horn. Maybe I missed that aspect of SportsCenter, although I watch SportsCenter on a daily basis. But somehow I must have missed the discussion where they said that this man should be fired immediately. I must have. And please point that out to me. Send me a link. Send me something. Let me feel a little bit better that they had that same energy for us. I didn't see any NFL players making it. Well, I never see NFL players make any comments about black folks. It's as if the 85% of black people that play in the NFL don't understand what they look like. Maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I'm not calling a spade a spade. Please, again, correct me if I am wrong. I personally didn't see one of the 4 people in Major League Baseball that are left that are black, and they wonder why black people don't want to play baseball anymore. I'm running out of adjectives. I'm running out of superlatives. I'm running out of words. I'm running out of disgust for some of the shit that I've been seeing over the course of the last few years, let alone my whole lifetime. And as you can see, I've been around for decades. I have seen this country do us so wrong and then blame us for being done wrong. Reminds me of Dylan Roof. I know it's a completely different scenario, but the reason I say it reminds me of Dylan Roof is because this man did one of the most egregious things you could ever do to a person, and he did it to numerous. And he did it in a place of worship without a second thought. And you know what they did when they caught him? They took him out to eat. Why weren't those police officers fired for that? I'm just curious. And I know it has nothing to do with anything. And I do apologize for those. No, I don't. I gotta apologize for shit because it's my channel. If you don't like it, don't watch the shit. Turn it off, complain, do whatever. Email me, send me something. I'm this, I'm that. I really don't give a shit. Because some days I just get fed up. And today happens to be one of those days. And if you are a black person, generally speaking, those days tend to happen more frequently than not. That you get fed up. And I take that back. Not more frequently than not. More frequently than they have been. I'm not going to blame Trump. I'm not going to blame Biden. I'm not going to blame anybody but those guilty. Did Trump? Okay, yeah, he'd get some blame. The Biden absolutely gets some blame. Because they both play the quote-unquote race card. Which I find interesting that people say you playing a race card. When I don't, it's not like I can change my race on a day-to-day basis. Not that I don't want to. I don't. God gave me the opportunity to be born again and asked me if I wanted to change colors. I would not. Anyway, that is me on my soapbox. Today we have a phenomenal guest. As usual, we and I'm just waiting on Eric Willis to tap in now, and so we can get. And if you have not heard of Eric Willis, also known as Chill, check out 16dalife on YouTube. And right on cue, I want to say, man, like he's got one of the best prison story channels. I don't even know how to describe it, man. The brother just has story after story. He spent 24 years in the California prison system, and he is back like it's a parole violation, man. Yard down. You feel me? Yo, and by the way, man, his intro is killing the game. If you have not listened to his shit, man, please do. Yo, let me get Eric Willis, better known as Chill, into the conversation. How you doing, bro?
Oh man, I'm doing pretty good. I'm still trying, and thank you for reaching out to me, having me on your program, man. I deeply appreciate it. I'm still trying to figure out this technology, man. I was hoping to come on here on my computer, but I couldn't figure out how to. I thought because I use StreamYard myself, so I thought I was gonna be all set up, but it was telling me to drag and drop and all that. So anyway, I just ended up coming through on my phone, man.
You know what? Sometimes, like when you using somebody else's StreamYard, you got to put it in your search engine. The link.
Oh, okay. And see, like right now, all that is above my technology understanding. So,
Look,
you
hey,
know,
bro, I'm older than you, probably. So,
yeah.
as you can see, do me one favor. Can you turn your phone from here to there?
Okay.
Yeah, what that
Then
does,
it
it usually okay.
got me
No,
upside down.
yeah, turn it back. Sometimes it usually will give you a landscape view, and I'm not sure. Yeah, just turn it back to the other way you had it. My bad. But usually what it does is it widens your view on the screen, and you'll still be faced up.
So say it again.
What it use? Yeah, no. Just turn it back to the way like that. Usually what it does is it'll have this view of you only instead of this little box, it'll be a wider box. So when you do like replays and stuff like that, it just looks better on it. It gives you a fuller screen.
Right. So how do you want me to have it?
You good right now because it ain't gonna, some people's phone it just don't work on.
Oh, okay. But you know what? I don't think I got that. You know how you can have your phone rotate or whatever. I got that turned off. Maybe if I put that on, you think that might help? Or
That's probably what it is. Yeah.
okay, let me see. Let me find that.
Yo, but why you looking, man? How you doing, man? How's your family?
Oh man, everybody's doing good. No complaints, man. Okay, there. Let's see if it works now. Nope, still tripping.
No,
Oh yeah,
no, no, no.
there
There
it
you
is.
go.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah, that's perfect. I didn't know that was an option that you could
Right.
turn that on and off.
Yeah.
See, now you teaching me something.
Yeah, I have it turned off because when I turn it, when I twist my phone, it be flipping and all that. So yeah, I like to keep it off. But thank you for asking, man. My family's doing good. Everybody's well. No complaints, man.
Yo, man, your shit is dope, man. You got a really dope channel, and you are a phenomenal storyteller, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. I really do.
Let me ask you this: what gang are you in it, or I don't know, in or were in a gang? How did you start out?
Well, actually, me and some of my homeboys, we are the founders of the gang that I was once in, East Side Player Gangsters, and then the younger generation came and they changed it to East Side Park Gangsters, but it's still the same. And so yeah, I'm from a small city from named Bannon, California. It's in Bannon, California, and it's in the county of Riverside. And so yeah,
What? How did you end up in prison? What did you do?
well, so I ended up I was at a house party. Um, I got involved in a shooting. Three people were shot in the head. I mean, excuse me, three people were shot. One person got shot in the head. Two other people were shot in the leg. Me and a homie of mine were charged with that. Were charged with that shooting. I ended up going on the run, and I was on the run for about a year. By the time I was finally captured, then I got charged with another murder, and so that's how I ended up going to prison. I ended up going to trial on the attempted murders at the house party. I was found guilty of that. I was given 9 years for great bodily injury for the guy who was shot in the head, and I was given a life sentence for the guy they said that I was attempting to shoot at who wasn't even hit. And then, so like I said earlier, I still had a previous murder case trailing that. And so they ended up giving me a voluntary manslaughter. They ran the 16 and the 9 together, but they ran it consecutive until the
Instead
life.
of
So
concurrently.
So yes, and so instead of just having 9 plus life, I ended up with 16 years plus life.
So when you go to the joint, you thinking you're never coming out.
I'm thinking I'm never getting out.
That's the mentality. Did that mentality help you survive or did it hurt you?
Uh, you know what? That's a good question. And now that you mention it, I think honestly, I think it did a little bit of both. Because and the reason why I say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because and okay, and so even though I was sentenced to the 16 years plus life with the possibility of parole. At the time, the way the parole board in California was structured, if you had life for attempted murder or murder, they wasn't giving anybody any date. So essentially, they had turned your life with parole into a life without parole. And so, of course, when I get to prison, that's one of the first things a dude told me. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think how it helped because if if you worried about going home and you got all that time to do, you may not make it home because now you're worried about getting in trouble. And because in California, um, the only people who have to go see the board are lifers. I know in other states, everybody has to go to the board.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, they held every little thing against you. And so if you was worried about getting in trouble and not doing this, not doing that, not fighting, you definitely probably would have going to be taken advantage of. People was going to see that, that hesitance in your program. So by having that not giving a fuck attitude, for I would say for some people and for myself, it was, to me, it had me feeling like, whatever, I was by means, I've never been a tough guy or a guy that considered I'm tough, but at the same time, I'm gonna always do what I have to do, and so I think it definitely helped that because later on, after the parole board was
Mm-hmm.
revamped, the system was revamped, and they did start to let lifers go. It definitely played a part into my thinking, and by that time, maybe 15, 16 years had passed. So I had seen a whole lot. I had become more mature. And so it did make me, 'cause and
Yeah.
when you first get to prison, a lot of people have a I don't give a fuck attitude, but so when you don't give a fuck, it's easy to do certain things. But when you do give a fuck, that's when it becomes harder because now you're mature, you're realizing, okay, man, if I do this, because if I get into a fist fight in prison with a person who doesn't have life, at the most that might cost him 90 days. He can stay out of trouble for 30 days and get that time back and still
Mm-hmm.
go home when he was going to go home. As a
Right.
lifer, if you get into a physical episode, when you go to the board, they're going to deny you at least 5 years. That's a 5-year denial right there. So it does play a part into
Really?
how you proceed.
Yo, and you know what? Like, I think that it's probably it benefited you finding out so far into your term because you had already earned your stripes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like if I go into prison, I'm 25 years old, I got a 5-year bid. If I'm thinking I got a 5-year bid, you right. Niggas is gonna be fucking with me for 5 whole years.
Right.
But if I'm thinking like nigga, I'll turn this 5 into 30 quickly and I don't care, niggas smell that. Cause you in there with predators, right?
Mike, right, most definitely. If you could just give me one quick second, I just gotta let me see if I don't know if even I can do this. I don't even think I could do it. I got oh yeah, quick text. I just have to answer real fast.
Oh, knock yourself out, bro. And while you do that, man, I need to let people know that we are sponsored by M3S3 Clothing. Men make moves and suckers stand still, man. And shout out to the Nervedjs. Y'all already know, man. That is their family. I'm gonna pay some bills since we gonna do that and shit. Yo, man, and again, if you have not, man, make sure you go to 16dalife on YouTube. Yo, yeah, like your boy's got like just the decades worth of stories, and the nigga memory is like I can barely remember what I wore yesterday, and dude's memory is just like unparalleled to to
Okay,
keep it
sorry
quite
about that.
honest.
Yeah,
You all right, bro?
sorry about that. That was just an important. Okay, how do I make it bigger or whatever?
You just turn your phone back over.
Okay, Yeah, sorry about that. Like I said, when I do my interviews, I record it. I see, so I notice now you're going live, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, yeah. So most definitely, my apologies. Sorry about that.
Oh man, I don't give a shit, bro. We'll be all right.
Right.
You know, I don't want to piss you off, nigga. I don't want no
Oh, no, hey,
problems.
look, man. Look. Only time you gonna see me talking violent is in my raps, man. Hey, that shit is over. You know, shit, man. Look, I see we can kick it and have fun on your pod, man. Look. The women, I'll do it like this. The women and the food is too good out here to be going back dealing with a bunch of funky, mad ass niggas, man.
Yo, I'm gonna keep it real, man. I don't know. Some years ago, I was getting off the Greyhound bus, in Detroit, Michigan,
Uh huh.
and you know that's how a lot of prisoners go home on the
Right.
Greyhound. So it was this one cat, man, and we just got to chopping it up. He had just done 2 decades.
Mm.
And I remember, to this day, and this had to be 15, 20 years ago, I still remember the look on this nigga face when he stepped out the bus station and looked downtown.
Right.
You would think aliens landed on his forehead. The fear
Right.
you could see on him. Did you have that fear when you got out after 24 years?
Not at all, man. And you know what? And I asked a lot of my friends this, right? And see, I'm by nature, man. I'm a good dude. Damn, did my phone just
No, you're doing perfect, bro.
no? Oh, because it went dark. I think my battery. Let me go get my charger. I think my battery.
I gotta get one of them shirts too, man.
Yeah, let me go get this charger.
And we're gonna wait till he gets his charger. And while he does that, oh, okay. Yeah, I am kind of. Might be open to some new. I'm just looking at some emails of mine and shit, man. Yo, and you know what I've been thinking about doing is some listening sessions on my way to work, man. Because every day I pick a different artist, a different album. You know, listening to a couple of tracks on the way to work, man. Just to listen, man. Just to kind of get my mind right for the day. And if you out there and you tapped in and you got an
Because
idea,
my phone my phone turned dark like it do when it's getting ready to die. But no, it wasn't a charger. But no, that was a good question, right? And I think due to a couple of things, like I was saying, for one, I'm a good natured dude, man, and just by I guess the blessings of God, and for the most part, when I got out, it didn't even feel like I had been to jail. You know, that shit seemed like just a bad dream. And I asked some of my homies, did it, who done life too and got out, and some of them say, yeah, man, and, hell yeah, I felt all that, but for me, it didn't. And also, I had a good support system. I came home, man, to a good family. A couple homies and cousins. Well, my cousin James looked out for me real decent with some bread, and so like I say, I'm a good natured person, man, and I take things as they go. But it reminded me of what you just said. It reminded me of two quick stories. And the name of this story I told is Poker Game Leads to Lefts and Rights. My homie was playing poker and got into it with a dude, man. And the dude punched my homie. And then later on, he told, the police came and shit. And we hopped on the nigga, mopped him up real decent. But the dude told the sergeant that he was tripping because he didn't want to go home. He had done about 15, 16 years, and he was scared of going home. Now, at that time, I'm only about maybe, I don't know, 7, 8 years into my life sentence, and I couldn't understand how a motherfucker didn't want to go home, right? But back then, they didn't have the halfway houses and all that type of stuff, and so now I realize he probably didn't have a support system. He was going out there to the cold, cruel world. In prison, he getting 3 or 4 meals a day. He getting fed, and out there, he didn't have nothing. They give you $200. He was from L.A., We was maybe about a 3 or 4 hour bus ride from LA, so he was gonna have to buy him some clothes, get him a ticket home. By the time he got home, he probably gonna have $70-$80 left and maybe nowhere to go. And so now I kind of understand that now. And then also when I got out, I was in the halfway house, and I walked outside. Another dude had came, and he had been there a couple of days, and this dude had done 34, 35 years, and this motherfucker is out there watching a Parliament concert on his phone, smiling like a motherfucker, So It just took me back. Like, damn, this nigga been in jail. This nigga been in jail since George Clinton was the shit. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
so, and it just, and if you could have seen the look on this dude's face, boy, this dude looked like he had it all. You know, just watching a parliament concert on the phone, man. And so, it's definitely a blessing. Definitely a blessing to be out.
Okay, so what the fuck does it feel like to stand in front of the judge and this nigga say life at the end of your sentence?
To be honest, I was expecting more time than the 9 years plus life that I got. So when he gave me that, I was pretty happy. And then I remember too when I finally, so when you leave the county jail and you go to your first prison, it's called a reception center. They analyze you, diagnose you, see where they're gonna send you. So I'm talking to my counselor, and she says, "Well, damn, you seem kind of upbeat to have 16 years plus life. I guess a lot of people come in there moping and this and that." And honestly, to me, it came with the territory. When you in the streets, you out there, you don't expect to get caught. But if you get caught and you really have embraced the culture and you have embraced the lifestyle, don't cry. You knew the job was dangerous when you took it. You know what I'm saying? And so now when I really was shook up, they had charged me with those attempted murders at the party. Now I knew that. The DA had been saying, okay, this dude is also he has another murder, and we're gonna file that murder on him pretty soon. So that took about 5 or 6 months, okay, because what I ended up doing, right? So from the first case, it was a dude who was telling on me in my first case,
Okay.
So being young and dumb, I'm thinking, okay, if I eliminate the witness, I can beat the case. So long story short, I catch up to him, and unfortunately, now in my older, mature state, I done what I felt I had to do to beat that first attempted murder case. All I really did is compounded the situation and make it worse. So as I'm going through, I'm young. They ain't got no charges on me. I mean, they ain't got no evidence on me. I remember telling my public defender, I said, the dude from the other case that was telling on me, he died. So they ain't got nothing on me. About 5 months later, when I went to court again, they said, yeah, today we're filing murder charges. Now that shook me up. I remember looking back at my family, my mom and them was in court, and that shook me up. That had me nervous and scared and this and that. But I stayed in the county jail 2 years. So by the time I finally did get my life sentence, to me, it was part of the game. Of course, I didn't want to do all that time and shit, but it was just part of the game. And once again, I attribute that to just having a upbeat personality. A lot of times in county jail, because after I got sentenced to my 9 years plus life, I stayed in there another year fighting the murder case. And so sometimes when people would find out that I already had life, they was like, damn, Chill, you don't act like you got life. I'm always thinking, well, damn, how are you supposed to act when you get life? But then
I would be miserable.
Right. And then later on, I did run across a bunch of people who was miserable and angry. And so I saw what they meant. But then at the same time, like I said, if you really guilty of your crime and you brought that on you, how can you really be miserable? You know what I'm saying?
Pretty fucking easy, bro.
I mean, it's easy, but to me, it's like, because then niggas ain't accepted. You have created your own reality.
Yeah, that's true.
What can you be upset about? And this, like they say, man, cripping ain't easy. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's the difference between some people really accepting that lifestyle and some people just out there playing in it to be popular and hanging out with their friends and this and that.
When you said that, man, all I heard was Douglas. Nigga, that had me cracking the fuck.
Oh, yo, Douglas, man. Look, I like that. I can see that you really fuck with my page, right?
Nigga, I'm dying laughing.
You know the characters, man. And listen, I promise you, man, Douglas is lucky that I matured, man, because I would have slapped the shit out of Douglas, And that's when my homie, like I said, we was selling at the time. And when we got in that confrontation in the day room, we went to the cell later on, and my homie said, Chill, I'm proud of you, homie. I'm proud of you. I said, what you talking about? He said, man, because I knew a few years ago you would have fucked him up. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, Douglas was small. He was a mark. He was scary. He ended up rolling up later on when his homies hopped on his helmet, So, yeah, Douglas, man, he was lucky, man. And then it was crazy, too, because I told the story of It was one of his homies that me and him used to laugh and joke and call the dude Thuglas Douglas, man. His
Yeah,
name was,
rest in peace to that guy.
yeah, his name was. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know. I mentioned that in the story, man. He ended up
Yeah.
getting out and got killed, man. Broke my heart when somebody told me that, man. He was walking down, and he always used to be talking about this girl by the name of Lady Bo. You know, he was in love with Lady Bo, and I guess he was leaving, coming from her house, man. And somebody caught him and killed him, man. My young little partner, man. Good little dude. He always had a smile on his face, always laughing, you know. So yeah, man. My boy, tape it off.
What was the worst conversation you had with your mother while you was locked up?
Um. I would probably have to say probably two conversations. Maybe when I was notified that my father had passed away, and so I called home and she answered the phone. And so what they do is they call you to the office and stuff, and they got a little chaplain in there sitting in there and all that old type of shit. I said, hey man, just tell me, man. I don't. Don't give me all these speeches and I'm sorry, sir. And nigga, just tell me what's going on. So he told me. Then I called my mom, and when she answered the phone, she answered the phone in a voice that was so distressed. I didn't even I didn't think it was her. You know, I had never heard her. I had never heard her in that sounding like that. And so just seeing her so sad. And then other times too, before I got my parole date, when she would just say, Eric, are you ever coming home? You know, just because she was getting older and just just knowing that I had caused all this type of worry to her and that type of stuff. You know, when we young and dumb and we out there in the streets, we don't realize what we're doing. And a little bit off track here. Like yesterday, I happened to see where Tory Lanez had went to court and he was trying to get another trial or whatever, and the judge shot him down. And on the way out, he was screaming to the judge, please don't ruin my life. Don't ruin. I could be your brother. I could be your son. You know, in my opinion, man, you know, if he done it, if he shot the girl in the foot, to me, which is foul. If he did it, you're a sucker. I mean, who shoots a woman? You know what I'm saying? To me, I'm from that era, man. You don't put your hands on women and all that. So you shoot a woman in the foot. To me, if you did it, you're a sucker. But also, he's screaming, oh, judge, don't ruin my life, please. You know, if you did it, you ruin your own life.
Man.
Did nobody ruin your life, nigga? You running around with millions and you gonna shoot a woman in the foot? I mean, you know, so it just, to me, like I say, that goes back to people haven't accepted, you know, we don't accept the shit that we're doing to ourselves, man. If you out there gang banging, you in the streets, you know what comes with it. You know what I'm saying? So when you get caught up in a situation, you got to stand up and stick to the code. And if you can't do that, don't even be in the street. It's more honorable to say, hey, you know what? This life ain't for me, man. I'm going to leave before I get caught up in a situation. You know, hell no, I didn't want to go to jail and do 24 years. But I mean, I put myself in that position. You know, I can't get caught up and now I want to tell on everybody else, and because I can't take my medicine. So I don't, you know, to me, I don't respect shit like that, you know. So that's just what it is.
So I run into somebody you did time with in 5 years. What do they say about you?
Man, listen, and I'm proud to say that, right? They gonna say Chill is a stand-up dude. Chill was solid. He always kept it real. He was a cool brother. I ain't never owed nobody in jail. I ain't never got beat up. I ain't never done nothing I shouldn't have been doing and all that. And even though I'm not proud of why I went to jail, I'm proud of that. You know, I'm proud that I didn't go in there, telling on everybody and doing this and doing that because I couldn't do my time, you know. So, and like I say, and that's not necessarily going to be with people from my particular area. That's going to be everybody that I have interactions with. Bloods, Crips, you know, I got a lot of buddies right now from LA that I still hang out with. I go kick it with, you know, because when you in prison, you bond with everybody. After, you know, you sitting there and we in the same building, you know, we in the same building 2-3 years. We in there playing cards together, dominoes, watching TV, watching the Laker game, all that. You build bonds with some of everybody, you know.
You know what's interesting? I spoke to Michael Thompson. I don't know if you're familiar. A really high-ranking Aryan brother.
Oh, okay. I've heard of him. Right.
He ended up snitching on them niggas.
Uh-huh.
And which, under normal circumstances, is just, you know, like it doesn't get any worse than that. But the reason that he snitched is because they wanted to kill a civilian who really had nothing to do with shit.
Right.
Is there an acceptable snitching?
Hell no, man. Listen, everybody in jail, unless you are innocent, you in jail for hurting somebody. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things I found a little odd about being in prison. Everybody wants to be respected. The worst thing you can be in prison outside of a child molester and a rapist and this and that is a thief, a jailhouse thief. Now, if you just push up to somebody, it's one-on-one, and you take something from him, that's between y'all. But if this dude is out to yard or something, and you sneak up in his cell, you steal something from him, myself included, that's gonna make a motherfucker go crazy. But if we think about it, we all have robbed and took stuff from, whether you was the dope man, you out there, or you shooting somebody, you jacking people, we all want to be respected, but we don't care about disrespecting somebody else. So
Facts.
all that shit goes out the window. It's if you are in the lifestyle, there is no reason for you to be telling,
Most unusual. The person that you've had conversations with that you would not have conversations with under any other circumstances outside of prison. And why you think about that? I'll give you one. The same guy, Michael Thompson, when he decided he wasn't gonna be with the Aryan Brotherhood no more, he ended up in his program with a high-ranking former official of the Black Guerrilla family, and they end up being really cool.
And that's what I was gonna say. I was just thinking of probably some person, some skinhead type motherfucker who I ended up having a conversation with, because especially when you in prison and you see, and I'm gonna keep it 100, right? Sometimes I remember, walking here or there, or I remember specifically I was in line for the phone and I'm standing behind some white dude. He got all these racial tattoos on him. And I felt like an idiot for being in jail, for doing something to somebody black. I'm thinking like, here's a motherfucker who I should be knocking his head off,
Right.
But in certain situations, sometimes you, in the course of having a job, or you might work with a person like that, you guys will go to talking and you will realize that you guys have very similar feelings about certain things. Your ideologies may be different, but at the same time, here's just another man. And unfortunately, due to where you guys grew up and whatever culture you chose to embrace, you realize that you guys have a lot of the same characteristics, a lot of the same beliefs on certain things, especially on loyalty and stuff like that. So, prison will sometimes put you in a place with a person who you think you would have nothing in common with, but come to find out you guys are a lot more have things in common than you would realize.
What I did find interesting was the white Crips. Like the ones that stayed down.
Right.
Most people would choose the easier path.
Right.
And if you're not familiar, go look at one. I think it's one guy named Snow, a guy you were cellies with. I can't remember his name, but
G-Wee. Pee-wee, he calls himself G-Wee. I just talked to him today, but Snow Rock. Come to find out now, me and Snow Rock was in the same prison. I just didn't realize it because he was in another building. But I got a homie. I got a homie who was over there with him, and he said, "Oh yeah, man. Matter of fact, what happened is, by him being from San Diego, some Bloods had fucked with one of his homies while he was at work. So when he got off work, according to my homie, he found out about it. They came right out the cell and got cracking. And like you say, sometimes it's harder for those dudes to stay down. But the ones that do stay down, you will find out and see that those dudes are really down and with the business because they've had it hard their whole life trying to be a white Crip or a white Blood. Not only are they fighting other motherfuckers, but for a lot of times in their own hood, they have to fight over and over and over before they're finally accepted,
Yeah, that's what Snow. I watched the Snow story, and dude was like, "Man, my niggas." Well, he didn't say that, but my bros like they jumped that nigga in like 7 times.
Right.
Look, bro, I don't like nobody that much to get my ass beat 7 times just to hang out with you.
Right.
Go ahead, bro.
And then I was just gonna say, just to keep it 100, Snow Rock is probably about in my age generation, somewhere around there, early 50s, late 40s. Back then, we didn't respect no white boys as far as, fighting and stuff. You couldn't, I didn't believe white people could play basketball or fight
Man.
until I went to prison. You know what I'm saying? Because there are a lot of, we grew up with a lot of believing a lot of things that's just not true. And the reason we believe them, because they have been heavily circulated in our area. So when you hear your uncles and your dad and all these people talking about that, you start to believe that stuff until you find out better. You know what I'm saying? And so I say that to say I'm pretty sure Snow Rock, his homies, they didn't, white boy, oh no, we ain't accepting no white boys. And so they gonna make him fight and make him fight and make him fight. But we fail to realize people are people. The same way a black person can learn how to fight, a white person can learn how to fight.
Yeah, and what he said was it actually ended up they trained him
Right.
unknowingly.
Right.
And it helped him. Unfortunately, he had to go to the joint, and it definitely helped him. What was the best time you had locked up?
And once again, like I say, by me, I'm a good natured person. I've been funny all my life, so I had a lot of good times. Prison is what you make it. You know what I'm saying? Prison is what you make it. If you want to walk around moping and shit, you're gonna have a fucked up situation. I'm looking at it like I'm just to be here. I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna have fun, man. Me and my homies, we be in there rapping and bagging and in the cell wrestling, slap boxing, doing all that type of shit. Especially when I was in a prison by the name of Ironwood. It's down in Blythe going towards Arizona. And I was on this one particular yard for about 3-4 years. And so it was a group of us, man. And we had a bunch of fun, man. Shout out to my homie Emmanuel Gazy, my boy Pinwan from Grave Street, Prentice, my boy Psych from Bounty Hunter, my boy Snow. Snow was from Swans, my buddy Dale. It was a bunch of us there, Philly. I think Philly is one of the few that's still locked up right now, and I believe Philly, his son is that mixed martial artist dude, Kevin, the black dude, Kevin. Man, what is Philly's last name?
Yo, is it required that you remember where every nigga is from?
No, but when you doing time with all these dudes, because in this gang banging culture, you're gonna have a lot of dudes with the same name. You're gonna run across a lot of, for instance, JoJo's and Snows and Whoop-de-Whoop. So that's why y'all say, such and such from Bounty Hunter, or because it may be you'll run across several, you'll run across, unless you just got a real weird name, but you'll run across several dudes, who might have the same nickname. So that's why sometimes you'll hear a lot of Cali dudes when they speaking on people, they'll say, oh, such and such from Rolling 60s or such and such from this set, because it's
absolutely a Cali thing. Because I've had a couple people from Cali on here, and it's always exactly such and such from, that's part of their name and shit.
Right. Hey, because I'm just thinking, you said, is it mandatory that you remember where everybody's from?
like I done heard of the Bounty Hunters, I done heard of the Swans, so when you said that, like, I know I'm not from, I've never even been to those places,
right?
But I know what you're talking about,
right?
Like I remember, what's the dude named BJ from the Bounty Hunter?
Right?
Yeah, I've seen shit on his shit. I've seen a documentary on the Swans, so I've kind of, it's a matter of fact, that made me think, the prison story genre, why do you think that's so popular?
I don't know. I call prison the place that everybody wants to know and nobody wants to go. And you know what? I think it's just people, the curiosity of people wondering what's going on inside prison. Because even with all the time I've done, 24 years straight, I'm still interested in hearing other people's stories. I'm still fascinated by the experiences of other people. And, that reminds me too, every time, because I had a cellie by the name of Heron. And so every time I would mention Heron in my stories, people in the comments would say, are you talking about Heron from the dude who used to run with Death Row, Suge Knight and them? And so that's why you'll hear me say Heron from the Grandees, because like I say, people will have the same name. So you gotta, we try to let people know exactly which specific person that we're talking about.
Okay, you got a young brother that's getting ready to go down, and they doing at least 10. What's the first piece of advice you give them?
You got to just get in there and be yourself, man. People sometimes try to get in there and please people, and you'll realize that you're dealing with a lot of cutthroats and snakes, and everybody's not the same, And I think that's one of the things that harmed and hampered during my time, because I'm like I say, I grew up in a small city.
Mm-hmm.
85-90% of the people who I graduated with from high school, I went to kindergarten with. So I've been knowing these people all my life. And so,
Wow.
I have that type of affinity and affection for people, period. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just all that whole time I grew up, I had one fight with one of my homies. I'm not saying that all my other homies won't, but I'm not the type of person that's gonna get cool with you and then fight you over something small. So I went into prison with that type of attitude. Like, when we cool with a person, we cool. But no, everybody's not like this. Gonna flip the script on you. Some and let me
Yeah, it's breaking up a little bit.
let me try to get it back here.
Yo, that's
Okay, here we
crazy
go.
though.
Yeah, some dude. Damn, what's the
Oh, trust me, bro. I've been doing this a long time, man. Shit happens, bro. I don't be tripping. And what I may do, like even though we're live, like the Spotify and iTunes, like if it's too big of a gap in between, I just cut it out.
uh-huh. Yeah, no, that's my phone. Lately my phone it's been tripping when I turn it on, a commercial or some shit will pop up. I don't know. I done messed around and hit something. Let me see. I can't get back to it.
Yo, it was funny as fuck though, or that also had me in tears. You versus the Drunken Master.
Oh yeah,
Nigga.
yeah. Rob, man.
Yo, nigga. When your
Yeah.
boy was fucking with you afterward, though. That nigga ducked it and pulled on the cigarette and came back. Yo, man. That's one thing, man. I love about our. You right, man. I love about our people, man. How no matter how dire the situation is, we find some way to laugh through it. Man. And if you have not seen that one, man, I think that might be actually the name. Is you look that up on 16 to Life, man. And I don't know. I know it's versus Drunken Master. I don't know if you versus Drunken Master is the actual name. And I see he's trying to get back in on. And it just says device is not connected. They will need to connect their mic cam before you can add them. Yeah, you just gotta allow it to connect your mic cam. And I don't want to just remove the other one, but it is stuck in that one little spot. And let me scratch that out too, because because every so often I do actually write down some questions. It don't happen too often. But yeah, every so often I will actually write down some questions. But what I will do, and I will say that is that I do. Excuse me. I will. I kind of. I try to do my research. It's just if I'm one of those people that it helps me more so to kind of listen and watch and see mannerisms and see the type. Like I don't know, like looking at your if somebody sends me a bio, that helps, and I do ask for those sometimes, but it helps me to see other interviews or things that you've done to where I can watch body language and I can see how you saying things and what resonates with me, and that's just my and shout out to he trying, man. They would, yeah, for some reason it's not letting you, it's not connecting your and here, let's see. Oh, bam. Nope. And it won't let me connect the other joint. We'll see. We'll give it. We'll give it a few minutes. I'm sure he'll figure it out, man. And trust me, man, I am not the best with technology, so I'm pretty much a functioning idiot with and I can remove that myself. And let's see how that looks. No, that just gives you and hold on one second. Boy, these people is mad. I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, man, the other day, man. It was just okay. And apparently I am alone in that. All right, that should help. We'll see. But oh my goodness, like I don't know who was that? Was that Tony Baker? Yeah, on Tony Baker's on Tony Baker's channel, he was talking about it, and he was saying how this one was the fact that they dove into the life of the raccoon made it so much better, and all this other crap. I'm like, dude, like this one was just too. And obviously I'm in the minority on this one because oh my god, these people is so vested in this movie and shit. The comments that I'm getting, but it just wasn't all that eh. It was too much. Like like I don't want I want a healthy balance of the only Marvel movie series that gives me a healthy balance of good story and action are the Wolverine movies. Like I was watching Logan the other day, man, and I was glued to the screen. And I've seen Logan before, but it's just a really well put together action movie. A very good storyline, very good acting, the perfect Marvel movie for me. That Doctor Strange, the first one, perfect blend of good story, good introduction to the character, good action. The next one was trash, horrible. DC has just been horrible pretty much from jump outside of Batman. Like Batman is just and I take that back. The first superhero movie with Christopher Reeves, the first was it first two? I like those. You know, and those of course those were back then when they were still like laying on top of tables pretending to fly and shit, and they didn't have CGI and all of that. But that shit. Oh wow. Shit. Uh. Yeah, I'm not sure. At some point, man, like I gotta find something that's a little bit more consistently reliable. And shout out to the people that's watching, man. Yo, I've been waiting on this interview to be quite honest. Cause just like again, make sure you go to 16 Life, and that's DA Life on YouTube. Cause his ability to tell a story is just really, it's phenomenal. It's movie esque. Like you'll hear a lot of people tell stories or whatnot, and I see a lot of the comments on his channel specifically in that regards. And most people will say, and I can't remember the other channel. There's another channel. Man, what is yeah, I don't know why that is doing that, but it is just not let me. It just says they will need to connect. And here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send you the link again and see if that'll make it easier. Cause I don't know, like what the fuck is up with StreamYard. And yo, the crazy part, like the conversation has been very, very dope thus far. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's no way. All right, I think we good now. There we go.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell was going on.
Man, StreamYard can be trash sometimes, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna say it ain't
But
you. It's just technology is ass sometimes.
at least we got it, and that's another thing I need to start doing. Taking a more when I got out, I was more happy or willing to let people figure out the technology for me or do it for me. But I need to really start learning how to at least do and which I can now do some of the smaller things, because without learning how to work a computer and all that stuff, you're not gonna get far in this day and age. So
Yo, nigga, when you went to jail, we had phones in bags.
yeah, see, when I went to jail, yeah, I had a we did of course there wasn't no YouTube, no internet, none of that stuff. I had one of them brick phones. I had a phone in the bag that plugged into a lighter, and I had a Tandy Vision phone from Radio Shack, one of the long phones.
You
And
you had the Zach phone from Saved by the Bell.
yeah,
Oh my! You see, I remember all that. Nigga, I remember when cell phones came out, man. And nigga, oh my god.
and I remember my partner. I was in the cell with this dude, man, from Louisiana, Miles, and he was saying, "Hey, man, we need to get a cell phone, because this is maybe about 2010, 11. Cell phones is starting to float around real tough." And I'm telling him, "Oh man, I don't need a cell phone. I'm cool." I said, "I got people I can call, people to make a three-way for me." So about 2 or 3 days later, he brought a cell phone up in there, and he's showing me now how you can get on Facebook and all these. I said, "God damn, hell yeah, we need one of them motherfuckers." I didn't know they had all them capabilities. Yeah, I didn't know that you could do all that stuff on there.
Yo, so outside of moms, who rode the bed out with you?
Uh, Outside of moms, to be honest, my cousin James. I definitely have to say my cousin James, man. He was there with me. My daughter, and my dad, and until he passed away. And outside of that, that was it. As far as just being there solid, my brother, outside of that, though, shit, as far as just solid, I had a couple of homies here and there, but shit, they was in and out the feds, in and out the pen. And so you can't depend on them. And then, right now, one of my homies right now, he's back in the feds, and this nigga was balling and doing real good, and he'd send me $1 here and there. And now this motherfucker call me every day wanting some money. You know what I'm saying? So motherfuckers is gonna be, they still not gonna treat you the way they want to be treated. And I had to tell him the other day, I said, "Damn, homie, the first month you was locked up, he'd call me, HTO, let me get $1, talking about $100. I'm sending it to him all the time. But I said, nigga, I come to find out, I get out, nigga, you got all these cars and this and this and that. Nigga, you send me $200 or $300 maybe once or twice a year. I wasn't hearing from you like that." So these motherfuckers don't keep that up. They don't keep that in mind, or in memory. So
That's what these young niggas don't realize, man. Is that a lot of niggas will talk that shit, but very few is gonna ride that time out with you.
right.
And man, I wish more people would talk about that, because at this point, like, it's almost as if and I know I was watching Big Court on the Holden Court podcast do an interview with Melvin Farmer, and I know you did a joint with him too.
Right.
But they were talking about how going to prison is almost a requirement now to get validated in the streets.
Right. And you know what? It's always, to be honest, it's always been. The only difference between now as opposed to my time, and especially Melvin Farmer's time and all that, we didn't have all this social media, which is gonna magnify everything. It's gonna, everybody can see everything going on. Like nowadays, you may go around the corner and shoot up your enemies and stuff, and everybody gonna know about it. Dudes is putting everything on social media, as back in the days, only those who were involved in that type of street life was going to hear about that type of shit. So, only, you might have read something like that on the walls if a person wanted to kill you or something like that. But nowadays, social media magnifies everything, and so, because back in the days, going to the pen was almost like a rite of passage. A motherfucker got out the pen, with his chest all swole, his hair all long, and he was official. You know what I'm saying? And then back in those days in California, the time was easier to do in terms of an attempted murder. You could go to trial and lose on an attempted murder and get 7 years with halftime. So you're only doing 3 years. You go to trial and lose, you get 16 years on a murder, and you're only doing 8 years. They didn't have all these life sentences, but now once they started, coming with these gun laws and all that type of shit, now you better off killing a nigga and taking a deal. Nowadays, you'll shoot at him and miss. I got a homie that got about 90 years to life on I think he got a terrorist act or some shit, terrorist threat or some shooting into an inhabited dwelling. This dude got 90 years to life for shooting. They say he shot in a house and called on the phone talking about, I'm gonna kill you. He got 90 years to life, where as opposed I got 16 years plus life for a murder and 3 attempted murders. And like I say, had I went to try, I could have took a deal on that and probably got maybe about 20 years with half. So it's different now, and so all that time that they're giving out, of course, is going to make people less willing to go to jail.
That's fucking ridiculous. Did he kill anybody?
Nobody even got killed.
Yo, 90 years. Yeah, bro. Like, see, that's why I don't do crime, bro. Because I'm telling. Not even gonna lie, nigga. It's at this age, nigga. 90 years is a life sentence for me,
man.
Nigga, 20 years is probably a life sentence.
Man, shit. Hey, 10 minutes in the cop car is a life sentence for me now. It just, and that's the thing, though. When we get older and we really start to give a fuck, stuff like this matters. In some ways, I still am the same old motherfucker. But now I fear the consequences. Back when I was young, I didn't give a fuck. Now shit, I don't want to go to jail. These women out here, man, listen, I've been working out hard twice a day trying to get ready for some of these bitches out here is so bad, man. I'm trying to experience this shit. I ain't trying to be in a cell with some old hard-headed funky foot motherfucker. Shit, it's going on out here, man. Shit.
You know what? And the older you get, the more you appreciate time.
Man, most definitely, man. Most definitely.
At 20, I didn't give a fuck about. At 20, I could give away 10 years and be cool with that.
And get out, still be young.
Yeah, at 50, nigga, giving away 10 years, nigga, it might be a death sentence.
Man.
Yeah.
Too long, man. Too long.
God. Big U. You see him on TV, you see him he is like the super crip. I even got a chance to interview his nephew. But I didn't realize the nigga was like for real until I watched your story about him.
Yeah, Big U was he was my next door neighbor, two doors away from me.
What's that? I don't even like for you. Like, and I know, like you didn't get starstruck. Trey D. You just wanted to meet. You didn't want somebody to be like, oh, this is Trey D. Like, what was that nigga like on a personal level?
Okay, so Big U, he's from Los Angeles. I'm like, maybe where I live is like an hour and 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes from Los Angeles. So at the time I met Big U, I had never even heard of Big U. The yard, when he hit the yard, Big U's here. Big U's on the yard. Motherfuckers who had knew, because he's, like I say, he's from LA, and then by that time, his name was ringing bells also in prison. But as far as by me being so far and not being from LA, I didn't know who the dude was. My neighbor, my cellie at the time, he was from LA, so he knew all about him and all that type of stuff. So he gave me the game on him, told me a little bit about him, whatever. Then I had a few homies who had been in other prisons with him, but I hadn't ran across him. And so he ends up, maybe after he's there for a while, he ends up happening to move in the cell with a good friend of mine, Crazo from Raymond. You might have seen Crazo on the Kev Max show, Little Crazo. And so I end up meeting Big U probably through through Crazo. Me and Crazo was kicking it real tough. So man, Big U is a naturally cool dude. Man, he's down to earth. He's a cool dude. To keep it 100, man, he's a cool dude. You know, he at that time. He's a gang member. He gonna do what he have to do. You know what I'm saying? The dude is highly respected. He's highly active. But that dude, whoever he considers his people at the time, you got love coming, whether it's blacks, whether it's the neighborhood Crips. I mean, and being in prison at times it may change. Like I say, I seen him one time, an Asian dude was talking shit to somebody else black, and Big U said, "Man, you're not supposed to do nothing to nobody black, motherfucker." He started pushing over there. You know, the Asians, they grabbed the dude or whatever. So I mean, if he consider you a part of his particular circle, you know, it's all love, man. We used to play Monopoly all the time, basketball. You know, he's a real cool, down to earth dude. You know,
I would not play Monopoly in prison.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm a very animated Monopoly player, and I'd probably get my ass beat.
yeah.
Not gonna lie. You don't talk about the Asians too much. Like, and matter of fact, I got two questions. The cars. Like, explain the. I guess from my understanding, like when you say a car, that is basically like your set in prison.
Right, right. A car is basically just whatever collective you have chose to, to run with. You know, California prisons are branched off by racial cars and then interracial cars, especially with the blacks. You know, with the blacks, we have so many different cars and stuff. So, because different counties, you got Los Angeles County and so many different gangs, you got Watts, Compton and Watts, and then you got different little hoods from Compton and Watts, and then you got the neighborhood car. Those are hoods like rolling 40s, rolling 60s, hoods that have neighborhood attached to them, then you got the gangster car, the A-Trade gangsters,
Monster Cody now.
Yeah, the Faux Trade gangsters.
Matter of fact, I hate to break you up. Did you run into Monster Cody?
No, I never ran into Monster Cody. To my understanding, every time Monster Cody came to prison due to his influence, he was automatically put in the shoe. They had gave him an indeterminate shoe for one time being because you can be from a street gang, but if they think that you're from a prison founded gang, which is the CCO, the BGF, the Mexican Mafia, the northern structure, any type of the Aryan Brothers, any type of prison gang they find you to be in, you would automatically get an indeterminate shoe. And so every time, and even so, you could come to jail, do 5 years, and get out, come back on another sentence, and they still supposed to put you right back in the shoe. So that's what happened to him a whole lot. Eventually, I believe he was released from the shoe, but no, I never met him. And to me, I'm gonna do a story on that pretty soon. It was crazy because I read his book while I was free. When I was on the streets, I was an avid reader. I used to read a whole lot. And so I read his book, and his book really influenced my gang banging and all that type of stuff too. But it was crazy to get to prison and run across some of those people that he had mentioned in that book, because at the time, even though I'm on the run when I'm reading this book, I still don't picture myself going to prison. And so
you just think you wasn't gonna get caught.
Dumb as a box of rocks, man. Hey, when you young, you just think you that guy. You think can't nothing happen to you, can't nobody kick your ass, can't none of that shit. You don't know shit. But you think you know everything. And I never forget. My dad, he told me, he said, Eric, you better be cool, because my dad knew when I was on the run, I was trying to catch up with the people who I thought was telling on me and this and that. My dad said, Eric, you better be cool. They giving people life for murder. I said, oh, don't worry, Dad, I ain't gonna get caught. I never forget that. Never forget that.
And what did he say to that?
He didn't say nothing. My dad was cool. It was a trip, right? Because I had one of them pops when I was 14, 15. On the block selling cocaine. He'd come up there and try to run me off the block. I'd hear him coming on his motorcycle. Vroom, vroom. I'd run and hide, because he told me, don't let me catch you up here, But the second I turned 18, he just told me, hey, just be careful, man. Just be careful and shit. When I got locked up, my dad was against selling drugs. He had a cousin in Baltimore, who was the second biggest, according to him, biggest dope dealer in Baltimore. And he got caught, and The dude was trying to get my dad to join his organization. My dad said, "No, I'm cool," and went on to the army. Dude ended up getting caught. The lawyer played him out of his money, out of his clubs and all that. And it was time to show up in court. He didn't show up in court, So my dad was against all that. But once I got caught, man, I still had the connection to the plug, man. My dad took dope out of state to pay for my lawyer and all that type of shit,
Nigga.
The nigga, he bought him a couple cars too. Now he bought him a couple cars too. But he took
taxed your ass for the work.
He got a couple cars. That nigga pull up talking about, oh yeah, I got the new Lincoln Mark 5. I said, Dad, that money for the lawyer. What are you doing? Oh man, I had to get me a little something, So he hopped in the game, but he was just cool, man. He was cool, he was cool. The night I did what I did, I went past there, let him know, dropped the guns off to him. He went and hid the guns, all that type of shit, So yeah, man, nothing but respect to my dad. That was one of the one of my regrets too, being in prison when he passed away and couldn't be out there to take care of him and stuff like that. So
man, I can't. Wow. He sounds like a hell of a man, though, man.
Yeah, I grew up
dope.
buy me motorcycles, all that type of shit. Because my dad is from Blackstone, Virginia. He's from a small little town in the country. So we went out there. My dad actually had and this was like in 88, 89. We went to his mom's house. They still was getting water from a well and all that. They were some country motherfuckers, living in a pretty much a shack, still going out there to get, water from the well. And so he never had much growing up. So he wanted to give me and my brother everything, from the age 9, 10. We didn't have motorcycles, all types of shit, So, yeah, my dad was a good dude.
So what? Your brother took a completely different path?
Man, listen, when I would be out there on the block selling dope at 16, 17, my brother would be riding by in the car with the police. My brother was a police exploiter. Niggas looking at me crazy like, chill, we need to pat niggas, you wired? Do we need to pat you down? Shit, that's what my brother wanted to do. He wanted to be a police,
Nigga, that's a fucking movie, bro.
Yeah, so me and my brother, my brother was born in August 9th, 1970. I'm born August 5th, 1971. So we're not even a year apart, but me and my brother are exact opposites. So that's why I don't believe in that horoscope shit and everybody that's under the same sign got the same, because me and my brother's exact, we exact opposites. My brother, he don't like to fight, he laid back, all that, we different.
What's crazy is I got 2 daughters born in the same month, a year apart, and they so different.
Right.
They so different. What was the dumbest shit you had since you in a car? And I can't remember the story, but I know you told a story about a dude getting y'all involved in just a stupid ass fucking fight. Matter of fact, it was it y'all against the Bloods, and it was like 5 of y'all.
Yeah. You talking about at CMC when we got into it? It was with the Compton and Watts dude, my homeboy. Likewise.
Over the football game. Yes.
Yeah, over the football game, man. Yeah, these dudes, dumb, and then come to find out. So it was Likewise, and it was my homie G Money. G Money is only 19. Likewise is about 32 at that time. Likewise had been to prison 2 or 3 times. He had done enough time and he was old enough to know better, but come to find out once it all happened and we went to the hole, he's pumping Likewise is pumping G Money up, telling him, hey man, don't accept that. So the shit was supposed to be squashed. So, I'm up there, I'm playing tennis, I'm getting my Arthur Trash on, I'm playing, somebody say, hey, chill, man. They say, look back there. I look back, it's like 4 or 5 of my homies literally surrounded by 40, 50 motherfuckers. I said, oh, damn. Put my goddamn tennis racket down. I should have took the motherfucker with me. That's where I fucked up at. So walk down there, long story short, the riot started, and man, we fighting like a motherfucker, man. And it's like 3 or 4 of them it was so many of them dudes, they didn't even have nothing to do, and my own Stelly at the time, who was from, now see, like here's another name that you'll find a lot of these dudes. My Celly was named No Good. So, this No Good happened to be from Fudgetown Watts. So My own celly ended up rushing me. You know what I'm saying? And so to keep it 100, it hurt me a little bit. I understood it's part of the game. You know what I'm saying? But you know,
But he ain't
he
had,
could.
he didn't have to rush you. He could have rushed one of
Right,
your homeboys.
right,
Yeah,
and
and
because I
that, that was the part that I didn't like. It's like, like, bruh, we live together, and no,
right,
no homo, but bruh, like, we in, 6x9 together, nigga. We like, and then when you
right,
told the story about how his people's passed and how you looked out,
right,
like, at that point, that shouldn't buy your team a pass, but it should
right.
definitely get you a pass.
Right, right. And see, and for that reason, that's why you have a lot of people who only sell up with their immediate homeboys, because you never know, and like I said, when I said earlier, I'm from a small town. I'm cool because that's how I grew up with my homies. But everybody is not like that.
Yeah.
So, that's a situation where it definitely could have hurt me. Say we had came back in the cell. I'm thinking he ain't tripping, and I lay down, this nigga pull a knife out and stab me. You never know what the next man is thinking. So that's how, like I said, sometimes certain situations like that, I believe, looking back now, knowing what I know now, some of that shit, it definitely hurt me. You know what I'm saying? You can't, I realized, because you had asked me the question for the phone fucked up, a person getting ready to go do 10 years, you can't become too friendly with everybody. You can't, just think you locked in. And, that's another thing. I thought that, everybody in jail, we Crips, everybody got the same attitude that I got, and everybody's level of dedication to that shit is different. When I was in the county jail, I explained what I was going through to this older Crip who had been to jail 2-3 times. This nigga ended up writing the district attorney a letter and talk about he know about my case because he was looking at 3 strikes. He come to court and testify on me, tell on me, and all type of shit. And I'd never said the nigga's name. And I don't know why I'm saving this nigga. This nigga's name is Ellery Smiley. That's his real name, Ellery Smiley. He's from Rolling 90s Crip, and you know, and
Yes, nigga.
yeah,
I'm no disrespect to the rolling '90s, but
yeah.
yeah, nigga, you earned that.
Right. And so, eventually later on, I showed, because I had the paperwork. I showed the paperwork to a couple of his homies. My boy, shout out to my boy Duke, and shout out to Twin. And they was getting ready to go get him because it was a Smiley from their hood. He was on another yard, but it wasn't that Smiley. The Smiley that was on another yard, his nickname was Smiley. This dude's real name is Ellery Smiley. So I definitely want to make that clear too. It's not Smiley from 90s. It's not him. This dude's real name is Smiley. And he told me he used to go by E-Baby. And another dude, Cricket, he told me he was locked
Wait.
up with.
This nigga told you his street name and then snitched on you?
Man, look, we was in the pod together 5-6 months. Got into a riot with the Pisces and everything. This dude was down at the time. He was probably about 38, I think, older dude. We got into a riot with the Pisces. He in there knocking motherfuckers out and all that. And so that don't, and so later on I realized that don't mean nothing. Just because a dude is gonna fight and do all this and that, he can be the toughest dude on the yard, but still be a snitch. So that taught me also that just because a dude is a Crip or he's black or he plays the part, you never know what the next man is. And so you can't just get to jail or prison and think you're buddy with everybody, because everybody has different agendas.
Man, you know what? And I know I'm gonna let you go in a minute, but what I don't hear much about is the Asian population in prison. Are
Oh,
they
okay.
not active?
Oh no, the Asians are active, right? But now the Asians are active, right? But the Asians are real cool, man. The Asians are cool. They run a real tight car, a family orientated car,
Hmm.
And to me, the Asians are, when the Asians started coming over here, a lot of them moved into black communities, or lower income communities. And man, the Asians is just like the blacks, man. They cool. Um, I'm trying to think since I've been here, probably only 2 or 3, maybe 3 or 4 homies have come to my house since my own homies don't even know where I live no more. I don't let motherfuckers know where I'm at. But my Asian homie Pee Wee, a dude who I
Hmm.
met in jail, he has been to my house several times. Man, the Asians is cool. We kick it, we clown. I know that old motherfucker Charleston White was trying to kick up a whole bunch of bullshit at one point in time, talking about the Asians and the blacks and do and y'all let the Asians do this. Man, the Asians is cool, man. The Asians to me, they cool, man. They cool as a fan, man. The Asians is cool.
I mean, well, I will say this, and not to be defending that dude, but and I got nothing against him either. However, like how people are in prison, absolutely different than how they are outside.
Right.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
to keep
So go ahead.
No, and I was gonna say to keep it 100, right? I like a lot of the things Charleston White say. I just don't like the way he goes about saying them. But he said 1,000 times that that shit is a character just to get people's attention. You know, the first time I ever seen Charleston White, he was talking about how the little 13-year-old, well, at the time the dude was like 12 or 13. He was a rapper. He had a song out called Corvette. I don't remember the dude's name, but they had found out around the age of 13 or 14, his mom, he had saw a murder, and his mama took him down and made him tell what he saw. You know, maybe 12 or somewhere around there. So he had a major song that was jumping off. I think Little Dirk and some real famous rappers that hopped on the song with him. But once they found out about these snitching allegations, they asked to be took off the song. And so Charleston White was saying that you can't hold a motherfucker responsible for telling at no 9 to 10 years old. What was he supposed to do? Tell his mama, no, I'm not going down there. And I agree with him 100%. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of the points that he make, I agree with him. It's just the way that he goes about making these points and trying to, do this shock jock type of thing. You know, some of the things he says is definitely, unnecessary and in my opinion, uncalled for.
The fact that he does that and is successful says something.
Most definitely.
And it ain't just him. Whack 100 does the same shit.
Right.
And respectfully, I don't want you don't he'll never see this, but you don't need to cuss me out. I'm not trying to catch
Right.
a fade, none of that shit.
Right.
Although I will if necessary.
Right.
But like I'm. Anyway, yo, how do people get in contact with you if they want to holler at you, and where do they get one of those shirts? The shirts are fire, bro. And
Oh, you know,
the music.
I gotta definitely, because I had slowed down on the shirts, man, because the shirts is, when I used to go to buy the shirts, sometimes I might get $500-$600 worth of shirts, and you never really know um how they gonna sell. Like I'm the type,
Yeah.
honestly, I probably you wouldn't catch me rocking nobody else's merchandise. I ain't just, I'm just that type of person. So I was reluctant to even get the merch. But people kept saying, "Oh, get some merch, get some merch." Okay, so finally, when I got the merch, initially it was selling pretty well, but lately I didn't scale back on it. I haven't gotten, but I still have. Actually, I got a few shirts, right? I got a few right here, actually. But right now my supply is low because, like I say, I haven't re-upped. I haven't re-upped and stuff, and I don't know if I'll get back into it. Or I seen one of them sites where you can go on there and basically you let them handle it for you, and they get a percentage or something like that. So I
Yeah.
might try that. But as far as the contacting me, all they got to do is get at me on you can email me at 16 to life music .com. What is that? 16 to life music at gmail.com. So that's 16dalife music at gmail.com, all regular spelling. Or you can hit me up on Instagram at 16dalife and shoot me a message. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. Same thing with the music. You can go to my YouTube playlist and scroll down to gas stations, and you can find a lot of my music there. And hopefully, I'm gonna be dropping some music for the summer. I've been procrastinating a little bit with the music, but I need to get back on that too.
Yeah, bro, you bullshit. I
Yeah.
not even I no procrastinating, nigga. You fucking off, bro. Because that intro
Matter,
is motherfucking dope.
matter of fact, I got some CDs right here. When I got out, I remember when I first got out, motherfuckers was clowning me. All OG, we don't sell CDs no more. OG and all that old type of shit. And so I found out too that the streaming that shit is good for visibility, but when a person streams one of your songs, all you get is 9/10 of a penny. You don't get no
Yeah,
money. You know what I'm saying? And so
yeah.
if I'm able to sell 300 or 400 CDs at $10-$15 a pop, that's a nice chunk of change.
Now I do think that if you put it like if you have your own website and stream it, the compensation is different.
Right, and that's what I'm gonna look into. I seen something the other day called Inadot.com where you can put your own music on your website. And so yeah, I just need to figure that stuff out and you know, because if I can stream one of my songs for $2 or $3, that'll definitely help with with studio
Yeah,
costs and shit like
yeah.
that.
And what I was doing, like the T-shirts you got, I got the machine, the little press, but I can only do one at a time. So
Uh-huh.
what I would do is like for this shirt, for instance, like I would sell them, but individually. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not about to buy 500 of them.
Right,
You're gonna pay me for the one, and then I'll go in my basement and make that one.
right,
And there's young kids all across that's doing the same shit. Like I got a guy in Memphis that will do this shit for me. Somebody in Detroit that'll do this shit. You know what I'm saying? So if you find somebody like in your community that'll make like it'll be difficult to make the hoodie you got on, but the T-shirt, yeah, you could definitely make those, and that saves you on everything. You automatically
right,
put the mailing cost, the shipping cost into it. You automatically put all the costs into it, and you don't have no overhead.
right.
You know, and it just take you 2 weeks to get it to them,
Yeah,
and you tell them that up front, and they cool with that.
yeah.
You know, like nigga, you deserve to get every bit of change you can get, bro.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely trying, man. I'm definitely trying.
You know, I'm proud of you, man. If nobody else has told you that today, man, and 24 years is a long fucking time. You need to get all the box you can get and enjoy all the meals you can get. You know,
Hey, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, man.
nigga. Let me ask you one more question and then we out. I don't know, it probably took you what, 10 minutes to shoot up a party, if that.
Man, it probably
Was
shit.
them niggas worth it?
Hell no, man. Cause you know what? It probably took me what once I pulled that thing out and let it loose. It probably took me 3-4 seconds, right? And hell no, because and I used to honestly think about that all the time, man. Because at the time when I did that, I was living in Montana. So I'm going, and I was in California because I ran out of dope. So I'm coming down here to get some more dope. And man, I was making a killing out there, man. An ounce out there was going for $1,600 at the time. So I'd come down here, I'd buy an ounce for $300. I'd go out there and sell it a wholesale at 16. If I broke it down, I'd probably make 7, 8 thousand. So man, at the time I did that shooting, I'm like I think 19, 20 years old, man. I got $7, 8 thousand in my pocket. I got about 25,000 at home, which is a lot of money for a kid, especially back
Nigga.
then when my rent
Yes.
was only $450. Me and my brother, well, actually my rent was $350. Me and my brother lived together in a duplex in Montana. So I had everything that I needed, so and I would think about that all the time, man, how I messed off, my life behind a motherfucker he was living, he was homeless, and regardless of where he was living, regardless, because at the same time, he still was a human being. He still mattered to certain people. And so just to inconvenience my own self. So hell no, it wasn't worth it. Hell no, it wasn't worth it, man. It was because everything that it cost me, it also eventually cost me from being removed from the life of people who was important to me. I removed him from people he was important to. And so yeah, it definitely wasn't worth it.
Nigga, that's a nice bag. Jesus
Man, hey, listen,
Christ.
I had a spot, and then so many times too, I think about it like, damn, man, because when you're young, you buying cars. I had 4, 5 cars, jewelry. It was a gang of pimps out there. I'm trying to emulate these niggas I got a ring on every finger and all that. If I had just went out there and hustled hard for about 6 months, I could
You'd be
be,
good.
you know, be retired somewhere with some property. Like I said, when you get older, you realize all the shit you didn't
Yeah.
know when you
Yeah.
was young.
Yeah. All right, but I definitely appreciate your time, your energy, and your wisdom, bro. If there's anything possible I could ever do for you, man, please just don't hesitate to let me know.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it. And honestly, I can honestly say, man, this is the best interview that I've had. Just the fun, just the vibe, man. You seem like a cat I could bump into. We could kick it, hang out, laugh, and chill, And
Just
yeah,
an
it was,
old nigga, man. They
man,
talk shit.
yeah. Hey, the type of cat that I'm used to, man. Because like I say, I grew up just having fun, laughing, just trying to enjoy myself, man. So I definitely appreciated this interview.
Oh, no doubt, man. Hey, the honor was mine, bro. Like I say, if you need anything, please don't hesitate. And I'm gonna shoot you my number in the inbox.
Okay, most definitely, man. And enjoy the rest of your day. To all his viewers out there, you guys have a good day. And once again, thank you for having me on here, man. If you have not looked at my channel, check it out. It's on YouTube. It's 16DA Life, 16 to Life. I got a lot of great, funny prison stories on there. Go to my YouTube playlist, and you'll find a lot of my stories organized in categories. Because to keep it 100, most of my good stories are behind me. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing this for 2 years, and I'm damn near running out of stories.
I don't believe that, bro. But like y'all already know, man, it's your talent that gets you on the show, but it's your story that makes you stand out. And this is absolutely one of the ones that's gonna stand out through the end of time, man. Again, appreciate you, bro. Have a good one, man. People out there, man, you already know this is Jobs. It's another episode of Intellects D Petty Radio, and we out.
All right. Hey, thank you.
No doubt. Peace.
All right. Peace.